This woman is shown kneeling at the block, already decapitated, her head resting on the scaffold, cushioned gently by a cloth placed by her maid-in-waiting. Her loyal attendants are overwhelmed with grief, the other bending close, tending to her body with reverence, as if trying to preserve her dignity even in death. In the background, the executioner stands uneasily, his axe nearby, the weight of his task still hanging in the air. Courtiers and officials watch in silence, some stoic, some visibly shaken, each one a witness to the final chapter of a fallen queen. This painting is named The Death of Mary Stuart by Abel D. Pujol. She is Mary, Queen of Scots. At 6 days old, she became Queen of Scots. Her lineage was royal on both sides, and through her grandmother, Margaret Tudor, who was Henry VIII's sister, she had a strong claim to the English throne as well. To strengthen Catholic alliances, she was betrothed to the French Dauphin, and at 16, became Queen Consort of France when he ascended as Francis II. But Francis died shortly after, and the teenage Mary returned to Scotland, a nation that had changed while she was gone. When Mary returned in 1561, Scotland was now largely Protestant, but Mary remained devoutly Catholic. This instantly placed her in a tense political and religious landscape. She tried to rule wisely, tolerating religious differences, but the nobility distrusted her not just because of her faith, but because of her strong will and foreign upbringing. In 1565, she married Henry Stuart, Lord Darnley, a handsome but arrogant man who also had a claim to the English throne. The marriage soured quickly. Darnley was jealous, controlling, and ultimately deeply unpopular. He was also involved in the brutal murder of Mary's close friend and secretary, David Rizzio, who was stabbed in front of the pregnant queen. In 1567, Darnley was murdered, strangled after an explosion blew up his lodgings. Suspicion fell on James Bothwell, a nobleman who was likely guilty, but it was also whispered that Mary knew about it. She did not help her case when, just weeks later, she married Bothwell. Scots were scandalized. Nobles rebelled. Mary was imprisoned and then forced to abdicate in favor of her infant son, James. She later escaped from Lochleven Castle, but was defeated at the Battle of Langside in 1568. With no safe haven, she fled, ironically, to England, seeking help from her cousin Elizabeth. Rather than support Mary, Elizabeth viewed her as a direct threat. Mary's Tudor blood and Catholic faith made her the center of plots by English Catholics to replace Elizabeth. Mary was moved from castle to castle across England for nearly 2 decades, always under close watch, living a lonely, restricted life, but always a symbol of hope for those who wanted a Catholic monarch. In 1586, a Catholic named Anthony Babington hatched a plan to assassinate Elizabeth, rescue Mary, crown Mary as Queen of England. Unknown to them, Elizabeth's top spymaster, Sir Francis Walsingham, was reading all the secret letters. Mary's coded reply, in which she seemed to approve of the plan, sealed her fate. She had walked into a trap. Mary was tried for treason even though she wasn't English. She defended herself bravely, denying the charges and pointing out the injustice of being judged by her rival's court. But the verdict was already decided: guilty. Elizabeth hesitated. Executing a fellow queen and God's anointed monarch was unprecedented. She delayed signing the death warrant for months, worried it would set a dangerous example and cause outrage in Catholic Europe. Finally, under pressure, she signed it. The execution was ordered in secret. Mary wore crimson red, the color of Catholic martyrdom. She walked steadily to the scaffold, held a small crucifix, and declared, "Into thy hands, O Lord, I commend my spirit." Her ladies in waiting wept. She knelt, prayed, and placed her head on the block. The executioner struck 3 times. The first blow missed cleanly, the second nearly did, and the third severed her head. Mary's death shocked the world. Catholic Europe was outraged. Elizabeth, though she had signed the warrant, claimed it was done without her full knowledge, perhaps to preserve appearances. Ironically, the son Mary was forced to leave behind. James VI of Scotland would later become James I of England after Elizabeth's death, uniting the 2 crowns. I'd truly love to hear what you think of this painting. Feel free to share your interpretation in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.